Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the No Shave Man Cave. I'm Ellijare. Damn it, I don't have my tag team partner. I tell you, we should have this show be the top five tag teams of the world, right? Of the world and the history of professional wrestling. But not doing that without my man JT. He's holding it down tonight. So shout out to him and everybody who's gotta put in them hours at night. Props to you. We wouldn't the world wouldn't turn without that third shift. You know what I mean? So shout out to you. Thank you for holding it down. To my brothers and sisters in arms, I know I usually wrap it up with that, but stay safe, get your butt home, and we got a lot of wrestling to talk about back here in the States, but AEW is preparing to have a show overseas. I don't know if everybody knows this, but if you're tuning in to a wrestling podcast, chances are you are more than aware of how significant and awesome we are about to go on a ride with AEW and the most important show maybe in professional wrestling history. And it's up there with WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 3, the pay-per-view, 3 location. Not a huge fan of Battle Royals, but it had that, the Battle Royal going on. But yeah, man, we are gonna have AEW all in Wembley, and they have really done a fantastic job of getting us interested. Each week they've been announcing matches every week. Each week we get a little more enticed, and then they hit us with a little twist and a little turn. We have Ray Phoenix versus John Moxley last night, and he has some visa issues, so he won't be able to travel over to Wembley. So he got written out of this storyline. So we'll see what happens with the feud, that Death Triangle and Blackpool and Best Friends and everybody against Blackpool Combat Club. So I just, I'm in for it. I'm loving all of the character work, and every week though, you know what I mean? They're dipping their toe into another part of the storyline, or they're getting you interested in a match that you didn't know you even wanted. Like when you woke up, yesterday morning before it was officially announced in the contract signing, and you saw it on X or Twitter or Thread, and you saw Chris Jericho versus Will Ospreay. Now, keep in mind, last time we saw Will Ospreay on like a massive stage, it was against Kenny Omega, and it was a damn near perfect match. And kudos to him for winning the most beautiful title in all of professional wrestling. I got it up here. If you're watching the video, the IWGP United States Championship, beautiful title. I love it. I talk about it all the time, almost as much as I talk about Lucha Underground, which we'll touch on a couple of wrestlers that were over there. Man, so now we have Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho, and I didn't know I really wanted to see it, but now that I think about it, like, why wouldn't I? And Chris Jericho is gonna make Will Ospreay, and I think Will's gonna get over, and Will's gonna go over, and how it happens, hopefully it's clean. That way there isn't any controversy. But if it is not clean and there's outside interference, like with the JAS, something weird happens with the JAS. Maybe Hagar shows up and he throws his hat or something. Gotta bring up that hat again, right? So they furthered that storyline along. Really has me interested. And then you still have the Don Callis family sort of thing looming over Chris Jericho. And then that line that Will Ospreay dropped on us, yeah, you're gonna do your own walk-in song, and you're more excited about that than you are the match. Not me, not Will Ospreay. So, man, this is gonna be one for the ages, and you're also gonna see their partners in crime over there in New Japan, the Aussie Open. Man, that's gonna be something with the twists and turns of the MJF Adam Cole romance going on. So brochachos. So this is gonna be a lot of fun. So if you haven't gotten the card yet, it's Sunday. It starts at noon. Check it out. I really think you're gonna dig it. Bleacher Report, I'm sure, is gonna be doing some by match snips, and giving us information. But man, it's going to be a card. It's going to be really significant, and it isn't just going to be about the wins and losses. It isn't going to be just about the asses and seats and the draw and the money. It's the sport that we love and we get to enjoy, and they're going to pan to the crowd, and they're going to be going nuts. And this is just, it's so awesome, and I'm so excited for AEW and all of the wrestlers that are involved from all the different promotions. New Japan, Ring of Honor is going to play a big role, obviously. And there's some independent wrestlers. You've got Nick Wayne making a huge debut, and I hope he can handle the butterflies, because these butterflies are going to be like friggin' pterodactyls, and and they should be, because this is a very talented, professional wrestler who's a little bit green and a little bit, wet behind the ears or whatever. But he is gonna, I hope he becomes as great as it seems like he will be, because it's gonna be a lot of fun. And now you're gonna see a really cool match. Sting is gonna be involved. AR Fox, I guess, has some travel commitment issues, so we'll see what happens with that. Now, Christian Cage is going to be involved. I'm super into Christian Cage's character. He is such a jerk, you know what I mean? And if you're going to be a heel, you got to be a heel. And Christian is, man, just such a jerk. I hear you got a dad who's dead, and he just goes in. I mean, he turned his own kid into security on one of the shows. So, I mean, there's that, right? But yeah, great job with the character work. Everything is just hitting on all cylinders. He's carrying the title of the TNT Championship. He's, just, and what is Luchasaurus going to do? That's the $1 million question. Is there going to be a point where he's just going to lose his stuff? And is Christian Cage, is he going to take a live round of a spear from Edge or something, if Edge were to show up at All In, or All Out? You know what I mean? So the following week, they don't even give you like a whole lot of time, because hey, thanks for joining us, and Jim Ross is going to sign off. This may be his last major show, because of travel and his health and everything. This is that's another thing that it could be very, very significant, where you're not going to hear the vocal stylings of one JR, Jim Ross. So it's all good things come to an end, and just shout out to the man with the black hat and the barbecue sauce, and some of the lines that he dropped were just absolutely monumental. When he was doing announcing for UWF, and he would announce and talk about Dr. Death Steve Williams. He was a huge Dr. Death Steve Williams fan. And then, of course, his years with the WWE business just picked up. It's a slobber knocker. He would talk about catching a train. I think it was the catching the 10 to Yuma or something like that. But yeah, no. So there's a lot of things that are going to be pretty significant. You've got several big women's matches, which I hope they give them the time and they don't make them rush, because this could be fantastic. And with that, they're building Ruby Soho to go against Statlander, so that could be a fun match because they're styles make fights, and I think this would be really good. Obviously, you've got the boys from North Carolina, Hardy Boys, really, at the tail end of their career. And, Aussie Open gets a win, and that's a statement win. And unfortunately, it was done against the Hardys, but it's a statement win because who are they going against during 0 Hour? And that's Adam Cole, baby, and MJF. And that's, here we are. They're, getting momentum. They're really starting to build. They're really starting to build the, the energy to, give MJF and Adam Cole a little bit of clout. But is this all just a swerve and a work, and we're going to be totally confused? I don't know, but I am here for it, and I'm sorry to admit that. No, you know what? I'm not sorry to admit it, because this is exactly what professional wrestling is all about, right? It's suspended belief, and you can believe it, you don't have to believe it. Is he hurt? Is she? For the dark side? Is she for the good side? Intergender matches, whatever. There's just so much that you can bite off on and enjoy, and there's always meat on the bone when it comes to professional wrestling, and you could watch it every single day, and you could go back into the archives, and there's always going to be something new. Although a lot of the matches are essentially the same, all the way down to, upsetting you when you hear, a tribal match. It is a official tribal match. And I'm thinking, oh, well, if it's going to be tribal rules, there's going to be honor, and there's going to be scoring, and, and it, obviously it didn't go that way. But, for the most part, you have the good guys, the bad guys, the black hats, the white hats. You have tag teams, you have factions, you have storylines. Gone are the days of the carnies, entertaining, the couple hundred people per city, along with the bearded woman and the doctor with the tonics or whatever. This is, no kidding, legit sports, and these are true athletes, and it may be choreographed to a certain extent, but I wish you would take an RKO or a legit kick from Rob Van Dam and go, oh yeah, I'm fine. Just the thought of catching a DDT or a spine buster, nope, I'm out. I can do a few things, but I can't do that. So, professional wrestling, it is one of the most entertaining things, and this card that AEW has put together is absolutely gonna burn the place down. Now, we talked about the significance of WrestleMania 3 and how massive it was and everything that went on. You're never gonna have Hulk Hogan versus Andre ever again. Oh, but you said, wrestling, it's the same, and you could do, okay, yeah, it is the same, but there literally will never be another Andre the Giant. And WWE has tried, and it doesn't, you had Earthquake and Typhoon. You had One Man Gang. It's just not the same. Bam Bam Bigelow, he was, a once in a lifetime generational talent, but he wasn't Andre the Giant. the spectacle that was, especially in that day and age. So good, AEW doesn't have that, but I tell you what, if you're not interested in, we've already talked about Chris Jericho and Will Ospreay. Now you have who I think should be a world champion somewhere. AEW, Ring of Honor, Eddie Kingston with Penta, best friends, and they're going against Blackpool Combat Club and Santana and Ortiz. So Santana and Ortiz are back. They were on the shelf for a little while. They had a little falling out. They're back. And this, Eddie Kingston and Santana Ortiz, traveled the road together, and now they're going to be in a match against one another. So, Eddie Kingston wants to get his hands on just about everybody, so it doesn't necessarily matter. I really, really, really wanted to see Orange Cassidy, only focus on defending that title. But we don't get that, and I don't necessarily think it's an issue. We'll probably get one at All Out, and I was originally thinking like the way they were booking Swerve, he would be carrying the international title. Now it looks like it could be a Moxley play. There's so many different directions you could go. I would maybe even Jay White eventually down the road. They're sort of aligning him to go one-on-one with CM Punk at some point, just the way they talk. But hey, we're going to keep it moving, and the card continues. Chris Jericho versus Will Ospreay. It's going to be a great match. It's not going to be Omega versus Ospreay, but it's still going to be great. And then you have the return of Daddy Ass and teaming up with the Acclaim against House of Black. He comes back. I don't know what he's going to do for boots, so let's hope that he hung on to a couple pair, because we are going to get a phenomenal match. A very motivated Billy Gunn. So I think that is going to be a really fun match. You're going to get the hits, and everybody's going to get scissored, and I think the Acclaim walk out of there your AEW Trios champions. They carry the titles for a little while, and then Billy Gunn can ride off into the sunset. Maybe it's some form or fashion of the bang bang gang, the Bullet Club Gold. So we'll see what happens with that. Super excited to see though, and I know there's just so much meat on the bone with some of these storylines that we haven't even scratched the surface. And if you watch AEW regularly, you will see little hints where, and it isn't as obvious as Adam Cole holding on to MJF's title and just drooling all over it, or someone coming in and Orange Cassidy made the save and they're holding each other's hands up, and they corner eye that international title. But it's little things, little comments, and eventually it rears its head, and dang, it's there, and you're like, man, I can't believe I didn't see that. What we got going on, the twists and turns of Tony Storm, the Outcast. There's so much that that can be done, and it's going to be, yeah. So that's going to be phenomenal. You got Sheeta defending her title against Tony Storm, Saraya, and Britt Baker. So that is going to be one for the ages. Do we see? What kind of return could we see with this? This is the women's championship match, and I love that Sheeta is the champion right now, because she didn't get the opportunity to carry the title in front of fans. Sorry. You have the nearly exact same situation over in the WWE with Drew McIntyre. And, don't tell me that, he got his because he was the first WWE superstar at WrestleMania to come out and get that love. Okay, that's great. I appreciate it. But that's still not being the WWE World Heavyweight Champion or the um, undisputed Universal Champion. Now, granted, the lineage of these titles are different, but I think everybody understands what I'm talking about. So kudos to AEW. This is really smart. I don't know that this would be the main event, but I think it deserves ample screen time. I wouldn't put it second to the last, but I think it should have a predominant place in the card. Um, I think FTR and Young Bucks, that tag team match, I think that should open the show, because if you're not first, you want to go on last. And you put these guys on first, and it will truly set the tone for the show. And everybody's going to try and outdo each other. That's right. So, how many returns do you think we're going to see? AEW is pretty good at, bringing out, some of the legends. Are you going to see something with Rob Van Dam? Are you going to see, the twists and turns? Now Sting is involved. Are you going to see, what else are you going to see? The talk with Sting now being involved, and Christian is involved. Well, shit, if Christian's involved, we just had Edge with his retirement match, and tell me that would not be awesome if he showed. Now his contract, rumor has it his contract is through the end of September due to injury and all that. So the chances of him showing up at All In is relatively slim. But it's there's money talks, business, whatever. But yeah, man, that's going to be something. I think Christian Cage and his character work. That's going to be an awesome twist to the show, to the match. So I'm here for it. I don't know what how Luchasaurus is going to play into that, but it's got to be something, because Tony isn't going to come out here prepared a couple of storylines deep, right? And we're all just like salivating. I am so jacked. So Jay Tilly and I, we're gonna be meeting at Casa de Jay, and we're gonna be up in the cave, up in his cave, and we're gonna be watching and doing live reactions. So there's gonna be a lot of wrestling fans doing the exact same thing. Come check us out on the No Shave Man Cave YouTube when we go live. Hang out, drop some comments, tell us, hey, do something stupid, do this, do that. Ask us questions about, our Rushmore, our favorite events that we've attended. What's the next chapter of your wrestling road trip? Because I tell you what, when Saturday comes around, Jay Tilly and I are gonna make we're gonna talk about how we were involved in making professional wrestling history. The past couple of days. So we are super pumped on what's going on here in the No Shave Man Cave. We've got fantastic wrestling on nearly every single night. The quality of wrestling that we're getting out of Impact, out of NXT, the character work that they're doing down in NXT, the work that Carmelo is doing, his sidekick Trick is starting to get a following, and the work that they're trying to do with XCOM Dom, I think is fantastic. But the growth of AEW has been really steady, I think. And are they expanding their fan base at the same clip that they were 4 or 5 years ago? Well, no, because they're a much more known name, but when you talk to somebody who's been a wrestling fan, for 40 years or whatever, they're used to, if they're a disenfranchised fan and they haven't watched it since the Attitude Era, they're going to go, oh, the WWE stuff, or they may even say WWF, and you're going to go, no, 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 no. We're talking about AEW. What's this AEW? It's like talking about an electric car to someone who only wants to talk about cars with carburetors. And, times change. And it was a necessary change and not an evil, like, oh, we had to have it because we didn't have to have AEW. But I tell you what, now that we do have it, damn right we needed to have it, and we have it, and we need to just soak it in because man, this is going to be awesome for quite a long time to come. Now, a couple of other matches that are obviously very, very significant on this card is the Golden Elite. I mean, you're going to have Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega, Hangman, Adam Page against Juice Robinson, former IWGP United States champion. Is his voice not like nails on a chalkboard though? When he starts yelling, kudos to Tony Storm for putting up with that. He's sitting there, where do you want to go for dinner? Oh man. Yeah, sorry, that was a terrible impersonation, but yeah, when he starts yelling that voice, it's something. But no, so they're gonna get high billing, because it's friggin' Jay White. He's from New Zealand, but it's close to home. Some European crowds are gonna recognize and appreciate that, and he's got such a loyal following for the fantastic work that he did at in New Japan. So I think that's going to be a great match. I think Golden Elite come out the winners. I'd like to see Kenny Omega get his hands on Jay White. I don't want to see Jay White get the pin, and I don't want to see Kenny Omega get the pin. But I think that'll be some fun because you could build a nice storyline. So you got the AEW World Tag Team Champions FTR going against the Young Bucks. Originally, I did not think that the Bucks were going to leave your world champions. However, over recent current events, that this isn't the forum for current events, but things have happened that may lead to FTR having to drop the titles. So, the world's greatest tag team may have to go on hiatus for a little while. Hopefully, everything works out and this is just a misunderstanding, So, FTR, Young Bucks leave your AEW World Tag Team Champions, and they're going to pull out the stops. And this is going to be a banger. This would be another good match that you would want to start the card with. Really get the crowd going, and just it would be something. Now, a match of just such massive proportion. You have Samoa Joe, the world TV champion for Ring of Honor, a gatekeeper of sorts in professional wrestling. He went to NXT a couple of times. He was on the main card. He was injured. He was doing great work with commentary, and then he was released. And I was really surprised by that. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, no, I'm not, because it's the WWE. He shows up in AEW, and man, I tell you, again, we talk character work, right? I wish Jay Lethal was not with this whole shenanigan group that he's dealing with. And, him and Samoa Joe were feuding. Jared, you like, all that old wrestling, and, that's not what we want to see. We want, younger wrestlers on the come up. Yes, absolutely. But you got to have a little bit of everything. And this match, CM Punk versus Samoa Joe, I think it's going to be a really good one. I don't think CM Punk drops the title to Samoa Joe. I just don't. It could end on some tomfoolery, and this starts a whole different feud. I don't want to see CM Punk try and do that go to sleep again. That was embarrassing. But hey, kudos to him, and the work that they're doing now, and realizing, hey, let's make some money, let's have some fun, and let's get in the ring. Samoa Joe versus CM Punk. CM Punk leaves, winner via disqualification, and this starts some kind of feud, factions or something. But yeah, I think this is gonna be a match that just it's gonna be a lot of fun, and fans who have enjoyed Ring of Honor for 20 something years, I think they're really gonna be down with this match, and I think wrestling fans and sports entertainment fans in general are really gonna enjoy this match. Are you gonna see a lot of stuff off the top rope? Are you gonna see a 5-star, 6-star match like you saw Omega and Osprey? No, but you are gonna see a fantastic story of two human beings that have a score to settle, and they're gonna settle it in the square circle, and you're gonna see it's gonna be a really, really good piece of business, and I'm super excited. Then we have the main event. You have the Triple B that is on the line. The AEW World Champion MJF against Adam Cole for the World Championship. Whew, man, this is going to be something, and I could see it go either way. I could see it end up being a clean finish, a dirty finish, a run-in. Roderick Strong and the Kingdom are involved. Maybe MJF pays someone, and now Adam Cole is in a feud with the person that cost him the match, and then they work it back around to where they hop into a feud some other way. Could be an odd one where they actually win the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, and then they screw each other over. Now, what does that do for the Ring of Honor? Well, you guys are the champions. Get in the freaking ring and defend the championships. And then one of them lays down. I mean, I don't know. I don't think they would do anything, like WCW embarrass when Hogan beat Jarrett. But no, I think it's going to be a great card. All in all, you can't go wrong with the roster of AEW, of Ring of Honor, of New Japan. I don't think that Nick Wayne is indie anymore. I believe he is all elite. So I think you're going to see some awesome storytelling, some fantastic professional wrestling. And hey, if you happen to be at the show and you want to grab me a T-shirt that says "I was there," I wear an extra large. And granted, I won't be there, but I hope everybody goes and they have a good time. So, man, book your hotels, get your rentals, or figure out the Uber Lyft situation over in England, and just get ready for an awesome time. AEW, thank you for what you're doing. I tell you, Tony, I'm not over here to be your hype man, but if you needed one, just let me know. And I can't wait to see some of these returns, because it is fantastic. The work that's being done, setting up for All Out, which I think is going to be fantastic. I can't wait to see Miro against Hobbs. That's going to be sick. So, hey, nice little teaser for our next show when I got Jay Tilly in the cave. So, hey, we got a lot of professional wrestling getting ready to go. We will hear you and see you on Saturday. Fantasy Sports Court bringing us live and nationwide via YouTube. Come check us out every Saturday night from 7 to 8 is our time slot. Again, check us out on all of our socials. No Shave Man Cave. Shoot us an email at noshavemancave@gmail.com. Again, thanks for checking us out. I'm Ellijare on behalf of Jay Tilly. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the floor.